Hello everyone, I'm making this video to give you the highlights of yesterday's Bioware stream about Dragon Age Inquisition. There's a link into the description, you can go check it out. It's over an hour long, I definitely recommend it. However, you might want to skip 5 or 7 minutes in because it's just background music for the first few minutes. So, the main thing they focused on was the character creation. They showed quite a bit of it, they talked about it, so let me give you the basics. Where should I start? Alright, so first, there will not be body types. However, each race and each gender will have its own body type. What that means is that the human male will have a different body type than an elf male, and then the dwarf will have a unique one, and the Qunari will have a unique one, and same with the females. All 4 females will be different from each other, the dwarf being the smallest and the Qunari being the biggest and the tallest. They even said that the Qunari female will be second in height only to the Qunari male, so human and elven males will be shorter than Qunari females. Other than the body types, everything else seems pretty well detailed, and I have to say I like it very much. If you've watched my live streams last weekend, at some point I talked to Lidaza about how I'm not very impressed by what I've been seeing in the trailers, mostly because everything they've been showing us has been on consoles. Yesterday, however, they showed us the character creation on PC, and I have to admit it looked pretty decent. I'm not sure how well you can see it in this video, but if you watch the stream, you'll see how detailed the skin textures are, every little freckle and pore in the skin, and the stripes on the lips. And then you had the iris of the eye, the outer iris, the inner iris. They really put a lot of detail and a lot of work in it, I can tell. So even though that's unofficial, I can pretty much tell that the game's gonna look better on PC, which shouldn't be a surprise actually. Another thing that I liked about the character creation is that they have these 2-dimensional sliders. Well, it's not really a slider if it's 2-dimensional, it's just it looks like a square and you move a point inside it. And that is the equivalent of 2 sliders, for example, ear size and ear orientation. But other than just saving space, that shows something really cool, and it's the fact that, as far as I can tell at least, the different facial features are very connected. I'm not sure how exactly to explain that. A good example of the opposite will be, I guess, both Mass Effect and Dragon Age. If you remember, in Mass Effect, half of your characters would look horrible because they will have some very disproportional facial features. Like if you increase the size of your cheekbones, you will look like something weird is sticking out of your face. And here, when you change a certain feature, the features that are around it kind of reshape and rearrange to fit that particular feature better, and it makes for a more realistic characters as far as I can tell. You can see at this point they're changing the cheekbones, and if you compare it to Mass Effect, it looks much more natural and much more realistic, even though they increase the size of the cheekbones pretty dramatically. Why did I say Dragon Age also? If you remember, in Dragon Age Origins, the first game, there were certain facial features that required certain other facial features. I'm pretty sure that was the case with the beard. So if you wanted to have a certain type of beard, you were also forced to have a certain jaw width and cheekbones and so on and so forth. So when you picked a certain beard, you had 2 or 3 other sliders locked out. And this is not the case. You can see over here how when you change the jaw width, the beard and the skin are rearranging and making for a much more realistic look. The character creation also seems very unisexual, I guess, in terms of males having full-out makeup. As a male, you can have all sorts of eyeshadow and blushes, lipsticks, you name it. Everything is available to you. As female, well, I guess the only thing I can think of is you can have big Adam's apple as a female. So there you have it. There are 2 voices, like it was announced. the voices were not very well previewed, so, because the guys were talking on top of them and the volume was not high, so I'm not going to show it to you. You'll see it in the actual game, but you have an option between two voices. What else? They showed the Qunari female. Perhaps we should talk about the Qunari female. Now, right off the bat, an interesting thing about the Qunari is that they will not be wearing helms. That came forth when they were talking about Qunari makeup. When they showed the Qunari makeup, they were like, okay, where's the war paint? Actually, instead of helms, the Qunari will wear, I forgot the actual name, but it's essentially war paint. You'll be able to paint your face in different styles, and that will be the equivalent of helms. Now, when it comes to the horns, there will be Qunari without horns, with normal hair. And also there will be Qunari with all kinds of horns. There are little horns, there are big horns, there are asymmetrical horns, there are horns that have been broken apparently and have an artificial steel extension, which look kind of cool. There are horns that look like they've been taken out, and generally I like how they did it. I think I'm very tempted to play a female Qunari. What else did they say? They said that they've evaluated the different lighting in different cutscenes so that they can provide a sort of a neutral lighting, one that will approximate how your character will look in cutscenes, to avoid that feeling of, oh, hold on, I made this character in the character creation screen, but in the game, he or she looks completely different. So they're trying to work that around. And that's about it, I think. They haven't shown a dwarf or an elf, but they did say that they will all have specific and unique features, like the elves who have more hairstyles, for example, something like that. And I think that's about it, really. I have to admit that it looked impressive. I really hope that the game actually looks like that when you're playing it. I hope the character creation is not some higher resolution texture version of reality. Because if you remember when they showed that trailer with the female Qunari talking to Liliana, it didn't look like this face. So I just hope that that's how the game will look like when it comes live. I may have missed something. Go check the live stream, it's in the description. They do show a little bit of gameplay and give a little bit of commentary on that. So go watch it, it's in the same video. And until next one, stay tuned and be good.